Thank you, Professor Pasik, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I don't have to share who you are and what is your background, but still, let's do it officially. Can you share a little bit about your background, what you're doing, what is the vision?
Well, I did my PhD at the University of Minnesota in future studies, and probably I'm still the only certified futurist in Israel. I'm most specifically, I'm concentrating on trying to understand the trends in future technologies, future social trends, and most importantly, I have in my lab a bunch of PhD students working on developing IQ or enhancing IQ with different kinds of technologies. More specifically, at the last 5 years, we are using what we call brain user interface, with which we are beaming our thoughts to computers. So this is basically what I have been doing in the last 30, 40 years. I'm a full professor at Bar Ilan University in Israel, and the rest is history.
By the way, in our second part of this conference, we have a company that's named BrainSpace, and they're actually using AI to analyzing the brain and all related. And there's another company that's doing something. So what you're doing is amazing, and I'd be happy to learn more. Let's talk about the first question. What is your vision regarding technological development? What will be the main trends? What is the rhythm to be faster, I believe, than in the past? And where the humanity is going for the next 10 years regarding this?
Well, something is very significant is in the making behind the scenes. I'm not speaking about things that everybody is speaking about. Let's say everybody speaks now about AI. I believe that AI is just another chapter in a very long journey we have been doing as a species for the last, millennia, if you wish. Okay, generally speaking, what we have been doing in the last millennia is that we basically did not accept our physical and mental abilities as a given. We were striving for many, many years to push the envelope of those capabilities. So let's say at the beginning, we found out that, well, we are running with a speed of 3 miles an hour. Well, 3 miles an hour is nothing. We would like to run much faster than that. So we have invented the wheel. If you take it through millennia, in the last century, we have invented the wings that we didn't have, and we are trading and we are conducting wars with amazing implications and applications of flight. In the last century also, we have pushed the cognitive abilities of humankind. We said to ourselves, well, our memory is tricky, is very small. We would like to enlarge our ability to remember many, many, many things and be able to access that information in no time at all. And then we said, no, that's not enough. We would like to be able to analyze those huge amounts of data. And then lately we started saying, well, that's not enough. We would like to mimic our way of thinking, our way of speaking, our way of drawing, whatever. But it's only another phase of pushing the envelope of our cognitive abilities. But this is not what really makes us so unique as a species. What really makes us so, very unique is what we call our consciousness. The ability to know that I know is something unusual. As far as we know, we are the only species on this earth that has that ability. So we are at the verge to start measuring consciousness. We are just at the verge of developing applications that are enhancing our consciousness abilities. And we are just at the beginning of a new era in human civilization, of course, is going to have great impact on almost everything. Like flights had impact on almost everything, and of course, computers had impact on anything. So we are just at the verge of something really amazing and so significant that is, for most of us, is actually at the very fringe at the very moment.
But in life, everything is every opportunity is a challenge. What the risks in this behavior? It seems that somebody has to moderate because we're going to.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what happens with any technology. Just think about what were the risks of inventing the wheel. What were the risks of inventing the railroads? I used to say to my students that at the beginning, when they were having, the railroads becoming more and more accessible to many people, a lot of people were afraid to take a train because they thought that a person that will, move in space in a speed of 30 miles an hour, his body will explode. Every time we invent something, it comes with a lot of fears, and some others are even, not just raise fears, but they raise unusual expectations that are also not so realistic. So this is how things are evolving. It has been evolving always, and it will continue to evolve. And still, we really don't know what's the next stage of consciousness. At the moment, we think that the highest stage of our existence is consciousness. It's like a century or a couple centuries ago, we didn't think about consciousness. We thought just about cognitive abilities. And that's why in the 20th century, psychology and psychologists were part of the highest, very sophisticated kind of scientists.
Okay, so I don't take you for the geopolitical aspect because I will deal with you with somebody else in this conference, because what you say is it's a shift of power. But I would ask you what you mentioned, where it takes us to Mother Earth, the environment, the climate, the water, the food. What's the impact? How Earth is growing, more and more population, more and more crowded, lack of resources. How technology can help to keep this balance?
Most of our assumptions are debated at the moment. Okay, you said that the Earth is constantly degraded. Well, we know that the Earth is a kind of a living system that is constantly taking care of itself. Some people are already speaking about it in sciences, and we need to help that process of recovering, because in the last few centuries we were so ignorant to think that there is no end to resources, there is no end, there is no impact of humanity on Earth, etc. And we thought that everything was created for the sake of humans, not just for. Now we are moving to another stage in our evolution, in which we understand that we are more guardians of this specific, unique, bubble in space, which is called now Earth. And we are going to not only help this Earth to recover, we are going to help it even enhance its abilities, its beautiful resources that can provide humanity in the future. That's one example thing. The other thing is that people think that 21st century is going to be exploded with humans on Earth. According to a lot of studies, that's not the case. According to many studies, humanity is going to reach 9 billion people by mid-21st century, and then we're going to start shrinking. So, a lot of assumptions that people are working with at the moment are not valid by by all means, at least from very scientific studies of trends, of vectors that we are at least aware of at this very moment.
So now I'll ask you a question not planned. I apologize, but you cannot speak with this without, we can talk an hour about this, but I must ask because it came to my mind now. Okay, let's say Earth is limited, we have land. What about using the sea? What about where it's seen that part of Earth is covered with the sea and a lot of resources in the sea, and it's a place that maybe in the future was all the Edison or the Nautilus movies, blah, 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 everything. Would the sea will be a source of more living, of more resources, of a way to using the sea more than we're using today?
A lot of people were playing with the idea of living in the seas, underwater, above water. These are just Hollywood kind of thinking. That's not real. Okay, the idea is to tap into resources in the seas is very valid, and that's what we are going to do in the next stage of society, of civilization. But that's not the end. The goal is really space. That's what we aim at.
I didn't ask it. I didn't want to open the subject.
Because there are much more resources in space than in the seas.
It's amazing.
So we are, let's just remember that we are just at the very beginning of our evolution. Okay, by all means, the Homo sapiens is just 200, 300,000 years on this planet. This is nothing. We are just at the beginning of our species, and it will take millennia ahead in which we are going to adapt better. We are going to continue our evolutionary process, and this is not the end. This is not the stage, the ultimate stage of our species. This is just the very beginning, and the journey is infinite. This is what we need to really grasp at this moment in time. We are not the ultimate stage of evolution of humankind. We are just the beginning, and the journey is very, 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 very long. And we need to be humble about that journey, and we need to understand that there'll be ups and downs in that journey. And we are starting now another period in time that is much more, let's say, mature. We as a species, we are maturing to understand that we are part of something bigger, that nothing was just developed for our use. This is very childish way to view Earth and to view our existence. And we are evolving, and it will take millennia until we evolve to be an amazing species that can take not just take care of itself, can take care of Earth, of other planets, of vast amounts of space that still wait our consciousness to discover.
Maybe my grandson will be Captain Kirk.
Probably will just travel for fun in space.
Professor Pasik, thank you very much. I enjoyed much this call.
Thank you so much.